Hello everyone, my name is Griffin and we are back with another reaction video. We are once again reacting to Brett Cooper. This one is called Employers Do Not Want to Hire Gen Z. Now, employers, I think, are becoming pretty, depending on where you go, they're becoming pretty picky and overly so with the type of people they want to hire. Almost everywhere requires at least 2 to 4 years of experience, especially with entry-level jobs, which entry-level jobs means entry-level, meaning it does not require experience, yet you see a lot of these entry-level jobs requiring years of experience that these entry-level jobs should not require because they're called entry-level. They're meant for people to enter in and gain experience through it. And yet, when I was out job hunting, I saw entry-level jobs at worst that needed 5 years experience, and that's not an entry-level job. That is an experience-level job. So it's hard to get a job because there are people out there who send out literally hundreds of applications to these jobs that are supposedly hiring, and they don't hear anything back, or they keep getting told no. It's like, if you're not going to hire somebody, why are you putting out an advertisement that you are looking to hire? If you're not hiring, don't put out an advertisement saying that you're hiring. Just don't hire. Let's see what this video has to say.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. So I don't think this comes as a surprise to anyone, but my generation, man, we are struggling. Now, I come to bat for Gen Z a lot of the time, but on a whole, Gen Z has just been set up for failure. And, if there is a sink or a swim option, we are definitely sinking, the majority of Gen Z.
My generation is pretty much sinking as well. It's basically from my generation and on, we have not been set up to succeed. We have been set up to pretty much either be neutral or fail. You'd think every generation is supposed to make it a little bit easier for the next generation to survive, live, and all this sort of stuff. Yet somehow the generation before mine and before their generation are making it harder and harder and harder for my generation and those past mine to live. I mean, right now I can barely afford to pay for this apartment. The way the housing market's going right now, I'm never going to be able to afford a home because the average cost of a home in general across the entire United States is what, $300,000-$400,000. How am I supposed to? I can't afford something like that unless I'm making over $100,000 a year. I mean, to comfortably afford a $200,000 to $300,000 home, you need to be making at least $100,000 or more a year. To own anything from $300,000 to $400,000, which is pretty much the average now, you need to probably make $150,000 to $200,000 a year just to comfortably afford it. I mean, you can struggle. My brother is making less than me, and he's struggling just to afford where he's living. And his home was about $200,000, and he doesn't even make $100,000. He can't do anything that he would love to do. He can't take a vacation. He can't go out and have fun. He can't do anything but pay his bills and keep food on the table. People can't afford to live nowadays. They've made everything in price. I mean everything in price go up, and they never let the income of those keep up with the rising prices. They kept it stagnant and rose the price of everything else to the point where now they can't really raise people's income without it making everything else worse in price. If they kept it balanced, it would have been fine. Or if they kept it balanced with the average income of everything would have been fine. But no, they kept raising the price of everything and did nothing with the income, to the point, like I said, where if they did anything with the income, it would just keep getting worse and worse and worse. So they've made it so unbalanced that it's almost impossible to rebalance it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And like I said, some of this is self-imposed from Gen Z, but a lot of Gen Z's issues stem from false promises and unrealistic expectations from society and the people that they were told to look up to, like their parents and professors, etc. They were told that a 6-figure job is normal and with each right after you graduate college, that everyone these days buys houses, go into debt for your degree because you'll never...
Yeah. The thing is with the college degree, I'd say it's easier to make more money with a trade you can go in for, you don't really need a degree to do a trade, but it does make it a little bit easier, I believe, to get a degree going to a tech school for a trade. It's like people with trades can, depending on what trade you go into, can make anywhere between $80,000 and $150,000 quite easily. I mean, it may take a couple of years, but with the 4+ year degrees, it is a bit harder.
Get a good job without it. Newsflash, a lot of that is not true. So alas, Gen Z is coming out of the college fog and realizing that life is not all it was cracked up to be. And specifically, we need to talk about a girl on Instagram who is documenting her journey to find a job. Literally, any job. Before we dive into this though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to this channel if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section episode or one of our Friday live streams. All right, so my friend sent me this video a couple of days ago and just said, "What the heck, Gen Z?" which is probably the best way to put what we are about to watch. So buckle up, because not only is this funny, it is just a reality for a lot of people my age.
This is the most humbled I've ever felt in my life. I'm literally holding resumes, a stack of them, so that I can go in person to places and say, "Are you guys hiring?" It's honestly a little bit embarrassing because I'm literally applying for like minimum wage jobs, and some of them are being like, "We're not hiring," and it's like, what? This is not what I expected. I graduated college with 2 degrees in communications and acting. I speak 3 languages.
Okay, just remember that.
I just want to be a TikToker if I'm being so for real with you. But I can't be delusional anymore. Like, I literally need to make money. So I'm just gonna keep trying.
So obviously we can laugh at this, and there are a lot of people online that are laughing at her plight. And it does crack me up that dropping off resumes in person has become such a foreign concept to young people, and that it's humbling and it's embarrassing to have.
Look, it's both funny and sad. It's funny because they see it as such a foreign concept to go put in resumes, when that was generally the norm. You had to create a resume to send into jobs in order to possibly get an interview. It's slowly gone away from that, where almost nobody really knows how to truly make a good resume anymore. They don't. I don't know if they teach that in every high school. I mean, I had a careers class, so we knew how to make a resume. Although after years of not making one, I had to have my mom make me one because I forgot how to make one. And that was, 10, 15, it was maybe 10, 15 years ago. But that I had to have my mom make me one. It's kind of embarrassing to say, but I had to because, but it's funny because this Gen Z and the generation that comes after it sees it as such a foreign concept to put in a resume, which pretty much that was the application at the time. Your application was just your resume. There was no real application to fill out. And after a while, they started making paper applications where you actually had to go into. You actually had to look at what places were hiring. You had to go in, fill out a paper application, hand it in, and then go about your day. And then probably the next day or the day after, call the place to see if they looked at your application and hopefully get an interview. Once the internet started going, they started doing online applications. And then there are some places that said you have to actually go in and still fill out an application. And now it's come full circle where people are now just making a resume again and going out and actually giving their resume and not filling out an application. when back then, like I said, the resume itself was the normal thing to do. So it's sad because it's, I feel so bad for it. It's what she said is she'd rather be a TikToker because it'd be so much easier, which I get. I get wanting to do this online stuff, be an influencer, make money doing that. I get that. It's a comfortable way of making money, and it's depending on what you do, it's a less stressful way of making money. But you can't be delusional because going online and making money is not the easiest thing to do. It's not going to happen like that. It's not. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes patience. Like I've been streaming for February will be 5 years. I will have been streaming. I don't even have 1,500 followers. I've been doing YouTube. I've had multiple channels since 2014. And it's mainly been gaming channels, and that hasn't really worked out for me. I stream my games, so that's what I do. I decided to, make reaction videos because I like to give my opinion. I like to let people know what I think and let people see videos they probably haven't seen and let them hear what I believe and what I think about them. But I do these as a hobby because I don't make money off of this. I mean, I can't make money off of YouTube until I have at least 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours viewed across my entire channel in the past 365 days. So my channel's not monetized. And even then, it would take forever until I would start making money to the point where I didn't need a job. People expect to start a TikTok, start a YouTube, start a Twitch, and, instantly within a week get fame and fortune and be able to do it full time, when that is not the reality. For some people, it takes years. For some people, it takes maybe a year, depending on how good you're at advertising yourself and networking and how entertaining you are, because that's the other thing. You need to be entertaining people. You need to catch people's attention and keep their attention. But it's gotten to the point where there are people who know that they can't be delusional about this stuff, and they need to go out and get a job and make money and get a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks or every month, depending on what the job is paying, what their payout is. Because some jobs are weekly, some jobs are bi-weekly, some jobs are once a month, depending if you're hourly or salary. But people are now waking up to the fact that they can't be delusional, and they can't just focus on becoming a possible creator or influencer. They need to go out and make actual money. They need to get a job. Otherwise, they're going to be out on the streets without any food or shelter. And that's just no way to live. And right now, the country's trying to make homelessness illegal, which is, God, our government needs a kick in the fucking teeth.
To go do that, because that is literally how my brothers and I used to get jobs, and I think people still drop off their resumes, and that is how normal people get jobs. But also, this is heartbreaking because this girl was obviously lied to. I mean, you heard her say it, like, this is not what I expected. This isn't what I thought would happen. I have 2 degrees. I speak 3 languages. Obviously, in her mind, this is not how her adult life was supposed to play out. People told her that her acting and communications degrees would set her up, that there were limitless jobs available to her, like, amazing, go pursue your dreams. But that is simply not the case. I mean, communications is one of the top 10 most popular degrees in the US.
Yeah. When it comes to these sort of 4+ year degrees, there aren't limitless jobs, because there are a lot of people that go after them. The ones that have a lot of openings are the trades, because not very many people are going after them anymore. If you want someplace where you can get a job almost pretty damn quickly, is go to a trade job. Be a mechanic, be an electrician, be a plumber, any sort of trade job. A mechanic especially, there's always people looking for a mechanic. I mean, get a trade job. It's a lot of physical labor, but it pays good. It has good benefits, And there's a lot of openings for trades.
Everyone and their mother is applying for those same higher paying corporate cushy jobs in media that she probably wants. And acting as a degree, I don't even have to get into that. We don't even need to talk about it because that was just doomed from the beginning. Which is why she's having to walk around and drop off her resume in person at other places for minimum wage jobs. Somebody commented and said, "Welcome to the real world, have a seat." Another person said, "You had me until communications and acting." I mean, true. I mean, the girl speaks 3 languages. She is obviously smart. I wish she had had the common sense to maybe see that those degrees were not worth getting. But again, I can't be too angry because we have lied to these young people.
Yeah, see, the thing, if you're going to go to college and go to a degree, make sure you do your research and make about the degree you're going for. Because you never know, like could this area of degree be so oversaturated that it would be difficult, near impossible to find a job in that area? I mean, yes, it may be something you want to go for, but make sure you also go for something that you like, that you know you'll be able, that is not so oversaturated that you can also actually get a job in and actually enjoy. And yes, generations have lied to us and to Gen Z and this current generation, saying that if you get this job, you'll be set up for life. You'll have so many job offerings. You'll be able to make 6-figure, 7-figure income. You'll have a home. You'll have a white picket fence, family, all this stuff. It's just been so shoved in their face and down their throats to the point where it's like brainwash. They've been lied to, and as soon as they get out into the real world, they realize they've been lied to. And it really sucks. There are a lot of people out there who go for these degrees that are so oversaturated that they eventually end up going for minimum wage jobs or just regular retail or other sort of jobs that's not in the field they went for, which really sucks. But I'm sorry to say, it's been oversaturated. Almost a lot of people go after these degrees. So it's just, I don't really know what to say, but reality ain't nice. I mean, it sucks. I feel for these people, but reality ain't nice. And if you're going to go for a degree, don't go for degrees like gender studies or some stupid shit like that. They are the most useless fucking degrees in the world. Don't do shit like that. Go for actually useful degrees.
We told them that this is the right path. They have been following what the experts have been telling them to do, and now they're paying the price. Somebody else said education in America is a scam. Yeah, that's the understatement of the century.
The education system has been so fucked for years now. It needs a severe overhaul because people are now putting in their political ideals into these things. They have gone so far away from actual education that I fear for our future generations. People's political ideals, political agendas, all this sort of stuff should not be put into schools. I'm sorry, but it shouldn't. History needs to be taught. Math needs to be taught. English, I believe, should be taught because people need to learn grammar and all that stuff. They do need to learn that stuff. Science, I guess that should be one. I'm not really sure about that. Civics should probably be told. But another thing is, careers, stuff about money, taxes, housing, jobs, resumes, all this sort of stuff, real life stuff, should be mandatory in school. So people, once they go out into the real world, they have an idea of what the fuck they need to do or what the fuck they should do. That sort of stuff needs to be taught in schools. Our whole entire education system needs a severe and immediate overhaul.
Person said, no one prepared us for our 20s being this hard. I'm in the same boat, girly. And they are certainly not alone. Now, guys, I had not seen this article, but as I was doing research for this episode, I saw it. I'm so glad because it ties in perfectly. Washington Post, back in November, published this article. New college grads are more likely to be unemployed in today's job market. The unemployment rate for recent college graduates is higher than for the general population in an unusual.
Just look at this. Let's take a look at this. New college grads are more likely to be unemployed in today's job market. Do you all grasp and understand how sad and horrible that title is in and of itself? People should not be going unemployed like this. It's for them to be saying you're more likely to go unemployed in today's job market after you graduate college. That is very, very sad. People should get higher education. It is a good thing to get a higher education. It is. It really is a good thing. But at this point, for how things are going, it seems more of a detriment to people. Because they're spending thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're becoming in debt with that money after going to college, only to be unemployed, still in debt, and not able to pay it back.
Usual shift. And I just want to go through and read some of this with you guys because I feel like some of it will resonate with some of you guys. It'll hopefully make you feel less alone. Maybe it'll help empower some of you guys who are trying to make decisions about your future if you're graduating high school. So let's get into it. So Washington Post writes, despite a surprisingly robust job market, recent college graduates have been having a harder time finding work than the rest of the population since the pandemic. This marks a sharp reversal from long-held norms when a newly minted college degree all but guaranteed a better shot at employment. Since 1990, the unemployment rate for recent graduates has always been lower than for the general population. And obviously, if we have learned anything from all the times that I have talked about this issue, it's that Gen Z and younger millennials, they are paying the price. Like, it is impacting a huge portion of our population. If you're struggling with collections, medical bills, credit cards, or personal loans, you need to check out PDS Debt. PDS Debt is an innovative one-stop shop to guide. Please do check out PDS Debt, because if you're making payments every month on your debt and your balance is just a monthly payment, you really want to help fraction of the time. So easy. You can get today. Again, that is episode.com/Cooper today. Truly, guys, this is such a practical sponsor for this episode. If you are feeling seen or you're...
Sorry, but I always skip sponsors in videos because I just don't much care for them. Nothing against the creators themselves, but I just don't care.
Struggling right now with anything we're talking about in this episode, go check them out because they can help. All right, so back to the article, but that changed after COVID. New grads have consistently fared worse than other job seekers since January of 2021, and that gap has only widened in recent months. The latest unemployment rate for recent graduates at 4.4% is higher than the overall joblessness rate and nearly double the rate for all workers with a college degree, according to analysis from the Federal Bank Reserve of New York. So literally, this girl is not alone. Recent college grads are unemployed. So if you are in your mid-20s and you are sitting here and you're going, Brett, why can't I find a job? I am like one of these people. I did everything right. You are not alone. It is a harsh thing to say, but they set our generation up for failure.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
And the cushy jobs that were promised to them aren't hiring Gen Z because, number one, they don't have real-world experience. We literally talked about that the other day. Gen Z, on a whole, has not really had jobs before they...
Yeah, see, it's like... There are plenty of jobs who see these people have these college graduates who would probably be a benefit to them. They're saying we can't hire because you have no experience. Well, how am I supposed to get experience if you won't fucking hire me? How do you expect all these people to gain experience in that area of their degree if you don't hire them and let them get experience? That's the thing a lot of these employers do not understand. You need, in order for the person to get experience, you have to hire them on, train them, and let them get experience. There are almost no entry-level jobs for a lot of these people with degrees. And I get if there are positions that aren't open for them where they can be brought in to be trained, like, executive jobs or jobs that are around managerial levels that actually need, experience. But, the lower jobs, if they're not hiring, that's fine. But if there are lower jobs that are hiring and you say you need experience to get into these jobs, well, how do you expect them to get experience if you won't hire them so they can get experience? That's what a lot of employers don't understand. It's like, we're looking for entry-level jobs. All right. I would like to apply for this entry-level job. Do you have experience? No. Well, I can't hire you. Then why the fuck Are you advertising for an entry-level job? Well, you need experience for an entry. No! That is not what entry-level means. Entry-level means beginner. Entry level. It doesn't mean you need experience. It means that person can get into that entry-level job to gain experience. I hate it when I see entry-level jobs that say require 2 to 3 years experience. Then at that point, it is not an entry-level job. It is just a regular job that requires experience. These employers need to learn this shit. If you keep looking for people who only have experience, soon enough, you're going to run out of fucking people to hire because there are going to be no people that have experience. You're going to have to start hiring people at, younger millennials, Gen Z, and soon Gen Alpha. They're not going to have any experience, and you're going to have no choice but to hire them. And, well, you're going to have to learn. Sorry. Because a lot of the older generation within probably the next 5-10 years are going to start retiring, and a lot of jobs are going to start, opening up that require experience, but you're going to have nobody that has experience because you decided not to hire anybody to train them to gain experience.
They enter into the post-grad market. And then number 2, the economy sucks. Everybody knows that. So those tech, media, corporate industries that everybody wants jobs in, they're struggling too. So they really aren't hiring a lot. The future is uncertain. And when these companies do have the opportunity to hire people, they're going to hire somebody who is older and has experience in the industry, or at least has some type of real-world experience, which, oh my God, is why internships during college is so important when you are a young adult. I mean, I don't care if you are not getting paid, if you are making $10 an hour, make the sacrifice and carve out the time to get a freaking internship. Drop those other extracurriculars. You don't need to be in Greek life. Seriously, it is so important. And I know that hearing that isn't fun, and it sucks because it's I want to be able to enjoy my time, but this is the reality that we live in. This is just the circumstances for young adults, and so you do have to adapt. And honestly, I had more fun doing my internships. I learned more than I did sitting in classrooms. I had more fun than when I was in a sorority because I actually loved what I was doing. I guarantee that getting an internship and working is more important, and it will set you up. And it's infuriating that colleges these days don't push young people to actually get internships. I have friends that...
There are even colleges who don't do internships when they even realize that a lot of the degrees these people are going for do need these internships so they can gain experience. And it's sad that there are a lot of colleges who don't do internships, who don't let their students do internships. It sucks.
That didn't do internships throughout college. They didn't work. They just did all of the, university extracurriculars. And they're struggling with this right now. They don't have anything outside of college things on their resumes. They don't know how to take interviews because obviously their $200,000 degree didn't teach them that important skill. It's horrible. That's horrible. But also, they're not alone.
Yeah, that's another thing that should be mandatory in schools is to teach people how to do interviews. That should be something, or maybe an elective. But it should be something that should be taught is how to do an interview. Because a lot of people have no idea how to do one.
Either. Here's another article we need to talk about. Gen Z struggles with job interviews. Can we really blame them? Managers say younger job applicants are floundering. Are they slacking off or resistant to a flawed system? And then they said, New York Post reports that a recent survey of 800 U.S. managers, directors, and executives who are involved in hiring found that Gen Z candidates are failing interviews. 1 in 5 employers reported that recent college graduates come underprepared. Issues with making eye contact, dressing for the job, and asking for unrealistic salaries topped the list of complaints. Nearly 40% of respondents said that they were more likely to hire an older candidate due to Gen Z's behavior in interviews. But I mean, again, not surprising. We talked about it last week. We can link that episode below, but Gen Z has never had minimum wage high school jobs or college jobs, and their colleges have not given them any practical hard or soft skills that will translate into real world jobs, and they haven't done internships. So many of my peers have literally been set up for failure. It's awful. And they've spent $200,000. They're in debt because of this. Anyway, back to the article. That was a little bit of an aside. Hopefully that was not too confusing, but I feel like it really tied into what we're talking about. Okay, back to Washington Post. One recent grad said, quote, I always just expected that you'd go to school, you get your degree, and you end up working some sort of office job that pays enough to live on. That's the way it worked for my dad and my brother, who's 10 years older than me. But that doesn't seem possible anymore. I mean, things have seriously changed so fast, but the messaging hasn't. People have watched as all of this is changing, as it's unfolding, but we're still telling young people, you have to go get a 4-year degree. You have to go into debt. You have to go do this. It's the only way.
I think one of the reasons why a lot of the bigger corporations in our society doesn't want to actually tell people the truth is because they don't want to admit that they fucked up. They don't want to admit that they fucked the entire system for future generations. They can't admit that they fucked up, so they have to keep pushing the lie.
Way to be successful. You can't not go to college. Oh my God, that's so scary. Look at the statistics. Look at what is happening to young people. We need to change the messaging. Another person in the article said, the labor market is tougher if you're a recent grad. But this really is a story about how the job market has been really good for people without a degree. There are other dynamics at play too. Recent graduates who spent months, if not years, learning virtually during the pandemic are increasingly looking for hybrid and remote work arrangements, which means competing with a large swath of applicants around the country. They're also losing out to newly laid off tech and media workers with real world experience. Like guys, if there was ever a time to consider not going to college or just putting off college for a bit, unless you need a degree for your specific line of work, that time is right now. Like, get a certificate instead. Start a business. Get an associate's degree if you want one. Go into a trade, anything else. Because things are not going to change overnight. It sucks, but this is the reality. And if you want to succeed, you have to look at the reality and figure out how you're going to adapt and overcome. There is a whole sect of my generation that feels absolutely screwed and does not know what to do. And I don't want you guys to fall into the same situation. All right, last paragraph, this one is important. That souring outlook is fueling broader discontent among young Americans who are disproportionately focused on economic issues such as jobs, taxes, and the cost of living. A stunning 93% of young adults in battleground states said that the economy was fair or poor, compared with 81% of the overall population, the poll showed. Meanwhile, less than 1% of adults between the ages of 18 and 29 rated the economy as excellent, the lowest of any age group. No shit. Like, obviously it's not good, but how do we turn that into votes? Because voting has consequences. We are feeling the consequences of how my generation voted in 2020. Like, my generation is smart enough to know that the economy is struggling. They are facing that reality. It's right in front of their faces. But do you think it's bad enough for them to give up the derangement syndrome and actually vote for Trump over Biden? I can't say. I would love to look at these numbers and go, wow, this is a slam dunk. Like, Gen Z is going to turn it around. They're waking up. But honestly, I don't know, because common sense is really lacking in this generation. But what you and all of us can do right now is help encourage people to take non-traditional paths. Encourage young people to get jobs young, where they learn responsibility and important social and communication skills that obviously a large portion of our generation has not learned. And we also need to erase the stigma around not having a corporate, cushy job in media or tech. Because I'm sorry, but that might not be the future. Guys, I'm jumping in for an update right now because I was just talking to my entire team, and as of recently, like their last few jobs, they still drop off resumes in person. This is why they're the best, because they realize that that makes you stand out. That going in and looking somebody in the eye and saying, hey, I know you have a job open, I applied online, here's my resume, I'd love to talk to somebody, like, that is not weird. That should not be humbling. That is still a very good thing to do. It is still very normal. Well,
Yeah. This job market has probably been the worst it has ever been in well over a decade. I feel bad for a lot of people who can't find a job because almost everywhere is looking for experience that people just don't have. But let me know what you all think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinions. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Links to all my socials and other platforms that I'm on will be in the description below. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.